and PDP are responsible for fake news, not obedience, Peter Obi. Peter Obi, the Labour Party presidential candidate, has again absolved his supporters of spewing bile online. He asserts that the vitriol of fake news attributed to obedient supporters is actually the handiwork of the opposition. As we approach the official kickoff of the 2023 election campaign, it has become more evident that the opposition have adopted a negative strategy of trolling and insinuating fake news and misinformation in the social media space and blaming the Labour Party, its presidential candidate, and their supporters of same, Mr. Obi said in a series of tweets on Thursday. Pledging his commitment to the issue-based and clean campaigns, Mr. Obi vowed to rebuff all such ploys of deceit and calumny meant to create disaffection among Nigeria's voting population who desire credible leadership and change. The presidential candidate of the ruling APC, Bola Tinubu, weeks ago enjoined Mr. Obi to caution his supporters against attacking and spreading false news about him. Mr. Obi enjoys viral support of young Nigerians who refer to themselves as obedient. The hordes of fans have continued to vociferously proclaim that their support for the former Anambra governor, even as they show minimal restraint in squaring off against people who berate their hero. Mr. Obi faces an uphill task of trumping more established flag bearers of Nigerian main political parties, Mr. Tinubu and veteran contender Atiku Abubakar of the PDP in the 2023 elections. First of all, when it comes to Twitter, nobody has manners. And it's the audacity for any politician, even Tinubu, all of them, the audacity, the temerity, the chest, the boldness for you to come out and try to control what people say on an app that you banned for how long, and then you are the most using that app to communicate. You have to understand, okay? Twitter is there are different parameters. Twitter is not Instagram. Twitter is not TikTok. Twitter is Twitter, and Twitter has been Twitter. It's like, I don't even know what to call it. People don't have manners on Twitter. Twitter is not where, yes, people do have, intellectual debates on Twitter, but it's not going to be some really constructed, people give out their opinions. And Twitter has also been that place where Nigerians would come out and, express themselves. It's been an effective tool, and Nigerians have used it very well. So however anybody will choose to talk, it is not, now, at this time, that's when everyone will start saying, have manners. But before, you were not complaining about manners until it threatened your government, which is why you banned it in the first place. So really, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody should have time to start convincing and saying, listen, that's left to the political party. But for individuals that have made up their mind that this is who I support, it is who they support. But in this case, on Twitter itself, I don't understand. It's not rainbows and fairies on Twitter. It's like you don't understand, you are actually in the ghetto of social media. Twitter is not the place for you to start hugging and saying, this is my personal opinion and how I feel. No one cares. So if you cannot handle the heat on Twitter, look at the likes of Deji Adeyanju. He's been very humbled. And of course, he was part, or even till now, I never really know, he was part of those pushing the agenda of this obedience, being aggressive and, trying to be bullies and, forcing and, exerting themselves on other people and just dishing out their opinions. Nigerians have been doing that in general, in spite of who they support or whatever the cause has been. So for now, you are just the conversation. So now, Peter Obi has come out to say that APC and PDP are responsible for these fake news. And of course, even Tinubu said, giving that news or the same thing back to Peter Obi. So really, if everyone is crying over all these, then what would happen in campaigns? Literally, what would then happen then? So we'll see what happens. But really, when it comes to fake news, obedience, everyone knows what is what. And if you're going to be very vulnerable to fall with propaganda and believe whatever it is, just really, get yourself together, be wise. Literally be wise. If you're Nigerian, you're able to vote, be wise. You cannot be falling for anything. You really cannot be falling for anything, because if you over 18, wherever you are, and you're still choosing APC, I think Tinubu will be the one to lead you to the permanent site. That is on you, and the judgment you will receive will be very, very harsh. Very harsh. Well, exactly, just like how they planted thugs among the NSAS protesters to cause wahala, of course. And you understand that it's algorithm, right? So on Twitter, when a certain narrative is being pushed, it becomes a hashtag. Of course, now people start promoting their businesses and use the tags for their personal gain. But the fact is, you know, you have to understand that being logical and being smart, if you look at a leader and who the leader would attract, he would attract like-minded people that really want to work. So in terms of those that are rude and are bullies on Twitter, you can associate them with the likes of, for example, the presidential candidate of the APC, because that is the character he's given. Or that is just the character he seems to attract. So it's more likely you can associate it with other individuals, but with Peter Obi and the youth. I mean, say what you want. Listen, the older generation do not do the work. So now that you've given the younger generation the work to do times 2 or even times 10, let's just be humbling ourselves. But anyways, when it comes to this fake news and how these parties are coming at each other, what do you actually think? Do you think, I mean, again, it's not necessarily surprising. However, when it comes to Twitter itself, these leaders have no right whatsoever to speak on how Nigerians will choose to use that platform, because it doesn't belong to them. And they tried to ban it, but they didn't last long, because what it really shows is that when it comes down to it, they do respect Nigerians. And if it's to take Nigerians right away like this, they have shown you their characters, and they will do it. Do not let them deceive you. What obedience are doing today is not half compared to anything close today to what they did to Jonathan in 2015. They called him weak, dead, Ogogoro man, and all sorts of names. We remember they called their dogs and pigs after Goodluck and Jonathan. So it's like, what goes around really comes around, and now you're quaking in your boots, especially APC, to be honest. APC, them. And I feel like at the end of the day, yes, as much as you want to show APC a lesson, you have to also have to understand that this is a recruitment process, and we should not necessarily be one-minded and say, you know what, by all means necessary, APC will not smell or even 100-meter distance to Aso Rock. It's not that. Yes, you might want to kick them out, but also what is even more important is who you're replacing them with. So yeah, put what you think about this in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.